I'm assuming you can follow the tab or the standard notation from the beginning of this video well enough that you can learn the notes on your own. So rather than going note by note, we're going to go phrase by phrase and talk about fingerings, chord shapes, and some techniques that'll make this easier to play. If you do need some help reading tab, I've got a short video on that topic. I'll leave a link in the description. Also in the description, you'll find a link for ordering a PDF of this arrangement. Throughout this arrangement, you're going to want to pay attention to the chords above the music. That's going to help you find good fingerings. We start off with a C chord with melody on string 1. And then try to keep the C chord down as you stretch your pinky over to this D sharp on the 2nd string, 4th fret. Then in the 2nd measure, we have a D minor chord, but we also have a G in the melody, which means go ahead and finger the full D minor chord, but also place your pinky on the G, 3rd fret, 1st string. And then through the rest of that measure, the only finger you have to move of your left hand is your pinky, because all the notes in the melody belong to the D minor chord. So release your pinky here. And again, all those notes belong in the D minor chord. 3rd measure, we have a C chord with melody on string 1, string 2, and then a G over B chord with melody on string 2, and then a C chord with melody on string 1. And if you're curious about that G over B chord, I do have a video on chords. I'll leave a link in the description. Moving on to measure 5, we start off with melody and bass alone, at least for a couple beats. So 3rd finger on the low C, 2nd finger on the low B, and then we have this A7 chord, which is probably different from the A7 chord that you're used to playing, which looks like that. We have to alter these chords a lot of times to accommodate the melody. So in this case, we need to reach up to the 5th fret on the 1st string with the pinky to play that melody note, but we also need to play an A7. So we're playing this with an open 5th string, open 3rd string. 1st finger is going on the C sharp on the 2nd string, 2nd fret, and your pinky is reaching up to that A on the 5th fret 1st string. It's a really pretty chord. At the same time, just because there's a G coming on beat 4 right after that A7 chord, when you place your A7 chord down, see if you can also place your 2nd finger on the G so it's just ready to go. And then in measure 6, we have that altered D minor chord again, so the full D minor chord, but also with your pinky on the G, which is the melody note. And as before, you only have to move your pinky in this measure. All the other notes, all the other melody notes belong in this chord. And then we have a C chord with melody on string 2. And then we have this ending to the phrase. So the melody has a dotted 1/4, 3, 4, and 1, but the bass has quarter notes. 3, 4, 1. See, we want to practice that timing. 3, 4, and 1. Now I'm playing that bass note on beat 4 with my index finger. And I'm also keeping my 1st finger down through this little series because I need to go back to my 1st finger anyway for the C chord at the end of this phrase. Just makes it that much more efficient. Moving on to measure 9, we have a C chord with melody on string 1. And then we have a couple melody and bass only. We have a D, low D, and then we also have a D with your 4th finger on the 3rd fret, 2nd string. And then a D sharp and a C. Play that with fingers 1 and 2. And we have a little tiny E chord. It's only 3 notes. So it'll be an open B string, and then use fingers 1 and 2 for the G sharp and the E. And then measure 11, we have a melody over sustained low A. Now right there at measure 12, all we're doing there is building an E7 chord 1 beat at a time. We have an E on the 1st string on the 1st beat. Beat 2 is the low E, and then beat 3 is an E7 chord playing strings 3, 4, and 5. Now if you like, go ahead and hold that chord out for a little bit. It's not written to do it in the music, but it sounds pretty nice. And then we move on to the last phrase, pick up to measure 13. It's like the beginning. We have melody on string 1 with a C chord. Stretch out for that D sharp. And for the last time, we have this altered D minor chord with the melody on the first string G. Release your pinky. Now your pinky's going to reach up to this A on the 5th fret, first string, and then slide it back down to the C chord with a G melody note. And the end here is just like the end of the second phrase, which was measures 7 and 8. So practice the timing there, 3, 4, and 1, and keep your first finger down the whole time. And that was O Little Town of Bethlehem for solo guitar. Have fun with this, and don't forget to check the description to see where you can order the PDF. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time with more guitar tips and arrangements.